Hi there and welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today we'll be walking you through your 2025 Forest River 280RL impression. We are just going to start off at the back of the unit. If you notice up top, you are pre-wired for an observation camera. If you'd like to get set up with that, you can contact our parts department and they can put together a quote for you. You got your ladder so you can get up to check your seals periodically. And then right down at the back here, you do have your 3,000 pound hitch here with a 300 pound hitch rating. Keeping in mind whenever you're putting onto the back of here that you're just following the weight ratings. You do have a 4 flat wiring as well. Around the left of the unit, right down at the back near this ladder here, if you twist this is where you're going to keep your sewer hose typically, just to try and keep as much smell out of the unit as possible. We currently have a brand new one located inside the front compartment, which I'll show you in a minute, but this is where you're going to want to put it after you used it for the first time. A little bit further ahead, you're going to notice this little hole in the panel here. It comes through, and on the frame you're going to notice this little rod that is a manual override for the slide out in case the slide out were to fail for whatever reason. I'll show you the tool in the front compartment for that in a second. Further ahead here, you got your main sewer outlet. Just taking this cap, twisting it. You're just going to take note of those 2 ears there. Those are going to be the same 2 ears your sewer hose has. They just lock into place like so, and then you twist and that locks it in. You do have 2 gray tanks in this. You have the main gray tank and then you have the galley tank. This one right here is going to be for the main gray tank. It's pretty much where all your shower and kitchen sink stuff goes to. And then your other gray will be located right here beside the black, and that's going to be for the galley for the kitchen sink. And then you got your black tank. You're always going to want to empty your black tank first. That's going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. And then up on the wall here, you got your tankless water heater system. One thing I'm just going to note now, when it comes to winterization, it's not like your standard tank where you bypass it. You are going to want to run antifreeze through this guy, and whenever you're done running antifreeze through the whole system, just cracking this pressure relief valve, allowing the antifreeze to escape out when it expands and gets cold. You got a power switch right here. This does supply power to the 12-volt switch inside, which I'll show you in a few minutes. You got your furnace exhaust too, so just be mindful whenever that is on. This is going to be blowing out hot air. And then you got your twist lock 50 amp connection. This is a 50 amp trailer. Just taking note of this silver strap here. It lines up with this guy here. You're just pushing that into place. 8th turn to lock it in, and then you got that threaded collar to really lock that guy down. And if you follow that cord back, you do have your standard 50 amp connection. Now a lot of campsites may not have 50 amp service, so we do include with the trailer this 30 amp dog bone adapter, and then to go down from that, we also include a 50 amp park adapter if you want to run the fridge at home. But realistically, whenever you're going down from 50 amps of power to 15 amps of power, really the only thing you're going to want to run inside is going to be the fridge and your lights. So just be mindful of that. Same thing when you go from 50 to 30, just you're going down to less power, so you won't be able to run more things at once. Like if you have your air conditioner running, it's kind of the high power draw. It's going to be the only thing you're going to want to run. You got your water system here, as well as that exterior shower with hot and cold water. Cable satellite hookups on the right. And then you're going to notice this antifreeze inlet. This is just, you twist that and it comes through to this bypass hose. So you can put your pail of antifreeze there and get that all winterized. Opening up this guy here, this is where we include that pre-assembled sewer hose. And then it also comes with a few other goodies like that 15-foot water hose, some gloves, an extra toilet paper roll, and then just that 15 amp park adapter, which I've already told you about. The tool for the manual override for those slide outs is just right here. And then on the wall, you're gonna have your auto leveling system. Most of the controls for that are right here, but I can run you through it quick. Pushing that power button, it's gonna turn itself on. It's gonna say ready. To auto level, you would just hit auto level and the unit would automatically self-leveling. Let's say you're done for the day, you're done camping for the weekend, and you want to retract all your jacks, just hit and hold retract. All the jacks will come up, including your front ones, So then it'll say ready once everything is retracted, and you can go down to auto hitch, hit that. It's going to automatically lift that front of that trailer so that you can get under there with your truck. And then there's just a few other options like auto retract all, auto retract rear, manual level, and just some different things like that. But for the most part, you're just turning it on, hitting that auto level. Inside this compartment here, it's just where we house the propane. You got 2 standard 20-pound propane tanks. Like any style barbecue, you're just turning that guy slowly, opening it up all the way so you can open up the full flow to the unit. To take it off, you're just loosening this guy, undo your 2 things, your 2 hoses with your valves closed. And whenever this tank were to run dry, you just take the selector valve, point it over to this side, and you would start automatically running off that tank. That's about it for that. Located right in the front, underneath the bed. You're lifting this guy up. You do have a storage compartment as well as that spare tire. And you got your battery house. That's located right here. Inside there is going to be your battery. Coming around to the other side, you got a docking light under here as well. Just the other side of that storage compartment, if you open this guy up, on the wall you do have your solar controller. That's for if you were to hook up a solar panel. You can go through a bunch of settings on that. You got a little light here, which just turns on by the press of the button. And if you turn that switch on, it turns on some accent lighting on the front of the trailer. And then you have your battery disconnect switch. With the battery disconnect switch in the position it is now, which is on, the batteries are connected to the unit. If you were to turn that switch to off and pull it out, the batteries become disconnected from the unit. And there is just a little notch there, and you just got to line it up with that notch on this side to reconnect it. Bottle opener, nice little touch. And then further down this side of the unit, again, just a manual override for this side for the slide out. It's going to be quite difficult to turn that, so just be mindful of that. Get inside, you're just taking that assist handle, folding it 90 degrees, it'll lock into place, it'll allow you to open up your door. You get your blue latch there, you just pull that, and it'll unlock those stairs, so pull it down. You do have adjustable legs, so you can adjust them on either side with the holes, so you have nice and level stairs for your campsite. Taking a step on inside, first thing you notice off on your left is just going to be that fire extinguisher, just like home. Pull the pin and shoot. You got some light switches on the wall. The one light does an awning light above your head. The other light turns on all the lights in the main living space. And then you have your slide outs. So pushing and holding that out button, slide outs are going to start making its way out. And once fully extended, you're going to winds and clicks the motor. And always just noting before you open the slides, being aware of what's on either side of the slide, inside and out. That way you don't run the risk of damaging anything. You hear the clicking and you know that slide out's fully extended. Now we just do the same thing on this side. Just holding that down, and then as soon as the slide out comes to its full extension, you're going to hear the same clicking. And there you go, you heard the clicking, so you know you're fully extended. Now you also have a monitor panel on here, so you got your battery, which is gonna go low, fair, good, and C would be charging, and because we're plugged in, we're charging. You got your fresh, your black, and then your gray 1 and your gray 2. Then you have your awning switch, so pushing and holding that button out, the awning's gonna start making its way out. You're gonna know that awning's fully extended when you see the little flap hang down and the back of the metal tube. Keep in mind whenever you are putting this awning out, whenever it starts to get windy to about 5 km/h winds, you're going to want to think about bringing that awning in. That way you don't run the risk of bending your arms or ripping your fabric. You got that little flap that comes down in the back of that metal tube. Now if we're to start raining, you can take any arm, front or rear, and just pull down on it. It's going to change the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to then run off. Now if you like this angle better because it allows for more shade, you can do the same thing with the front arm. Just making sure you do push both arms back to straight before you retract it in. And retracting it in is just as simple as making sure you hit the awning in button. If you hold the awning button out, it will retract itself back in backwards. So just be mindful of that, because you could trap mold or you can retract moisture inside the awning, accelerating the growth of mold and mildew. And once those arms contact the side of the trailer, you'd be fully in. Now right down here, you're gonna notice you have a water pump switch. Turn that on. That's what draws from your fresh tank. You got your water heater option. So turning that on supplies power to this guy here, as long as the switch on is on outside, of course. You can turn it off by just pressing it, or you can leave it on. It's gonna tell you what your current output temp is, and then you can adjust that by going up and down for what you want it to be. It's locked to 50 degrees whenever it turns off as an added safety feature so kids can't scald their hands. But if you press and hold it up for 5 seconds, it does unlock it and will allow you to go to 55 in case that's where you wanted it. And then to our right, we do have our thermostat, and that's how you control the heating and cooling inside this unit. Now, first thing I'm going to go over, I'll just show you how to use the fan option. So if you push the button once, it illuminates itself. Push it again, you're going to go into your mode option. Now this is where you could choose between heating, cooling, or whatever you'd like. Hitting it twice could bring you just to the fan option. Now you can either turn that on high or low, and that's just moving air around with the air conditioner. There's no heating or cooling involved, just to move air around. If you want to get the heating or the cooling involved, you can go over to cool, hit enter. Now, again, you're gonna choose that fan option. If you see now, we have it on high auto, so the fan is gonna be, the air conditioner is gonna kick in and out as needed, depending on what you have the thermostat set to and what the room is actually doing. And once it hits that set temperature, it'll automatically turn off. If you want the air conditioner to run full time regardless, take it out of auto, and you can go to high. Now it'll run full time regardless of what you have the thermostat set to. Go back to auto, just because that's typically where people leave them. Hitting that button again, you can go into heat. It's going to say electric. Now that's just if you were to wanting to add in a heat pump to your air conditioner, it has the option to do so. But whenever you turn the heat option on, whether it is on electric or gas, it's going to fire up the furnace. Whenever the furnace fires up, always making sure you have your propane on, and it's always a good measure just to go to your stove and fire that up quick, just to try and purge a bunch of the air out before you fire the furnace, because the furnace is only going to try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, it's just going to stay off. So at that point, you would just have to turn this thermostat back to off and try it again. Go again, you can get to cool plus heat, so now it'll kick in the air conditioner or the furnace, depending on what you have the thermostat set to. And then that's about it for this one here. We'll just go back to off, and you do have a dry option as well. That's just to try and take as much humidity out of the air as possible with kicking the air conditioner in and out. Right down below, you got your main fuse and breaker panel. Holding that down, whenever you have a fuse blow, there'll be a little red indicator light letting you know which one's gone. And then whenever you have a fuse trip, it will just sit in the middle, so you do just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. Now walking into the main living space, all the blinds in the unit pretty much, they're just household regular style blinds. There's not much I can show you there. This is an emergency exit, so if you unlock that guy, pull this all the way over, it'll allow you to also slide that screen right over, and you can hop right on out. And then to get back, doing the same thing, locking it into place, that way it doesn't open while you're traveling. Just taking a note, you do have your travel straps here, so whenever you are traveling, it's recommended to have these on. That way these chairs can't shift anywhere whenever you're moving. You got 2 recliner chairs here. Recliners are just inside, and you can recline those as you'd like. This is going to be a pull-out bed, and it's also a couch. To get it into the bed, you're taking those cushions off, grab the foot of the couch like so, pull out, and it all just folds out. Fold the legs out, lay this down, this piece will fold back, you have yourself a bed. And then to get it back, it's just the opposite. And then you can plop your cushions back into place. You got your entertainment area here. You got your main cable satellite inlet right here, which is already hooked up to the TV. You got some plugins behind there as well. Then right down below, you got 2 USB plugins as well as 2 portable USB speakers, portable rechargeable speakers. You got your fireplace. Turn that power button on. It's automatically going to go up to the last setting, which apparently we had it on high. hitting this button here, you can turn it from high, off, and low. You got your different flame colors and your different rock colors. And then the button right beside it is just a timer, so you can go anywhere from 30 minutes to 9 hours. Off button to turn that off. You're gonna notice right underneath the TV, you got this little latch here. If you pull this latch out of its hole, this does open up into a nice little hidden storage area. Nice little feature they did for you. And then just to get it back in, doing the same thing, latching that down. You got your TV pretty much just like home, not much I'm going to show you there. You got your Furrion refrigerator, fridge and freezer. Controls are right down here. You're going to notice an off-grid section. Now that if you were off boondocking, the off-grid section is just there for the most energy efficient setting on the fridge. If you have it on its coldest setting, it's obviously going to use a lot more power. You got a charcoal filter right down here. Replaceable, it's just to help with odor. If you'd like to get any more of those, again, you can just contact your parts department. Inside the kitchen area, you've got storage all around. Very nice. You got a sink that does have a little veggie washer. And there is a slide-in piece here. We just have it put away for customer pickup. And then it has a cup washer as well. Coming to your main kitchen area, you got your microwave, which is pretty much just like home. Not much I'm going to show you there. You got your range hood, which I do recommend always running that fan on whenever you're running this propane stove. That way you're just evacuating those fumes as they're coming out to get the stove going. You do just take that knob, turn it over to light, and hit the igniter. Sometimes it won't light right away. I had the propane system running earlier. That's why it started up so fast. Typically, it does take a few seconds just to get all the air out of the lines, like I already mentioned. But if you're just patient with it, it does fire up. And then the same thing goes for the stove. You're just having to turn that light on. So turn the stove light on, turn this knob over to the little flame option, pushing and holding it in. Whenever you're doing that, just pushing and holding it for a few extra seconds to allow, again, the air to get out. Hit that igniter, and you'll see that pilot fires up. Holding it in for another second. Once it holds its own, once you release the knob, you can turn it up to your desired temperature, and it fires right on up. Always being careful with this glass top, as you can break it if you're a little too rough with it. And so because the stove as well as the furnace run off propane, you got an LP detector right here near the floor. If this guy ever starts going off, it's just letting you know you're getting to worrisome levels inside the trailer. So just turn off the main supply of propane and open up some windows just to ventilate it out a little bit. And then inside here, you do got a nice little cupboard area. Again, more storage all up top. And then taking a step up, we'll get you into the bathroom. Light switch is just on your right. Storage all around, hot and cold water. You got a nice little medicine cabinet. You're gonna notice here, you got a little fan inside the vent. Open it up, you just twist that knob, noticing you are going straight up into the atmosphere. So if it were to start raining and you had this open, it would get wet in here, unless of course you went with a max air cover. Throwing that guy on there just allows that extra bit of protection. You'd be able to even run it while you're traveling if you'd like to do so. Switch just turns on that fan. Now closing this door. So the blind, these two next two blinds, they work the same. They just sit where you leave them, and one quick pull will allow it to retract back up. And then taking a step on into the bedroom, the light switch is on your left. You're also going to have your slide and your VersaTilt buttons. The slide out button, you're just pushing and holding that out. The slide out's going to start making its way out. And this one, once it's fully extended, the motors are just going to cut out. And there you go. They cut up so you know you're fully extended. Then you got your VersaTilt bed control, so pushing that button up, the bed's obviously going to start making its way up. And if you're to push that button down, it's going to do the opposite and bring it down. Inside here, you are washer dryer prepped. So if you'd like to get set up with that, you can contact our parts department and we can figure that out for you. And then of course you got a TV backer here in case you were to want to mount a TV, as well as cable satellite with a plug-in. You're gonna notice this little black button here. This does turn the antenna on in the roof, which also improves radio frequency, so just be mindful of that. And you prepped for Wi-Fi. Again, if you'd like to get set up with that, you can contact our parts department. Nice window right at the front. And then one last thing I need to show you, which I missed. Just have to locate it. There is going to be a main GFI plug somewhere in here. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, it's probably because that plug is tripped. Anyways, that's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.